Hi everyone, and welcome back to ADA Network State, the best place to find out the latest happening across the Cardano ecosystem and the wider crypto universe. Now let's get started. Today, we're going to be looking at, under Cardano ecosystem news, the status of Cardano Node version 9 and the ongoing upgrade across the network. We're going to be looking at readiness for Chang across the ecosystem and leveraging an interesting document from Intersect. We'll take a quick look at the upcoming conference in Las Vegas called Rare Evo, and we're going to take a look through some of Ada Whale's most recent musings. Onto Cardano projects. We're going to have a look at some updates from ADAhandle. They keep on pumping up updates out recently. We'll look again at Iagon, their short-term roadmap, the staking mechanism they're about to launch, and a recent thread concerning a global IT outage recently. And finally, on Cardano projects, we'll take a look at AnetaBTC V2 protocol that is incoming. Finally, onto the wider crypto ecosystem, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin conference that starts this Thursday, the 25th of July. The Ethereum ETF recently being approved for trading today. Elon Musk updating his X account with laser eyes. Trump and some rumors around a strategic Bitcoin reserve policy and possibly the appointment of Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the Treasury Secretary, should a Trump administration take control of the White House. First up, back to pooltool.io and a look at the ongoing upgrade status for Node version 9.0 in anticipation of the Chang hard fork that will bring decentralized governance to Cardano. We are at 30% of SPOs having upgraded to version 9.0. And in terms of block production, this chart here on the left-hand side, we are running 14%. So 14% of blocks are currently being produced via version 9. So we need to get, I think it's actually 75% of SPOs, or 70 or 75% of SPOs having upgraded, and I think a similar number for the block production in order to instigate the Chang hard fork. So we are getting there slowly. Next up, a post from Intersect on X regarding the readiness for Chang. So there's just a small post here, but in it is a link to a web page that outlines the sort of pan ecosystem readiness for Chang. So there's a little bit of a background on Chang and why it's actually named Chang, which is interesting if you want to read through that. I'm going to scroll down here and you can see how to interpret the status. Ready is green, in progress orange, red not started. So I'm just going to quickly scroll down here. This is Intersect knowledge base, by the way. Core infrastructure components, these are all ready. So the ledger, consensus network, so on. Tools, Cardano Wallet, Rosetta, GraphQL, etc. They're mostly in a state of ready or in progress for Chang. There's some status is on wallet readiness, so Lace, Yoroi, NuFi, Eternal, so on. These are in progress. I think these are last updated. You can see 19th of July. Across the environment, SanchoNet, Preview, Pre-Prod, Mainnet in various statuses. SPO readiness, here's the 25%. I believe that's actually 30% now, as we just reviewed, in terms of total SPOs that have upgraded to version 9. In terms of dApps, there's not a huge amount of information here. They haven't started their integration yet, it looks like, across the board for the various apps listed here. And then the exchange readiness, there is no status here on their readiness. Now, reading through a lot of this, it appears that while we're talking about version 9 of Node 9.0, the exchanges and the SPOs will have to upgrade to 9.1, which is due to be released pretty soon. And I think there's a fix there for the Genesis files, I believe. So the exchanges won't update until 9.1 is available. So just something else to be cognizant of there. So look, all very exciting. You can keep you can come here and keep an eye on the various statuses of a whole range of aspects from across the ecosystem. And now a look forward to a Cardano ecosystem event, the Rare Evo conference, taking place at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas from August 15th to the 17th. So that's in under a month's time, 3 weeks time or so now. Just want to point this out. I know that there's a number of crypto, actually not just limited to Cardano, but crypto entities and projects attending, and I know that there will be a number of announcements coming out here, which will be really exciting to see. Just scrolling down, and you can see a whole range of probably very familiar ecosystem projects and others from around the space. And further down, a list of speakers. So you can see Charles is there, various other familiar faces, I'm sure. So just wanted to touch on that. We'll be covering that in more detail as it comes. Next, some thoughts from Ada Whale. This post is interesting, and I'm not going to read it all out. I'm just going to try as best I can to summarize the genius thoughts of Ada Whale here. For context, he's responding to a post here from someone really pointing out that Cardano's price has dropped by 86% from all-time high, and essentially it's a coin that should be avoided. Now, what Ada Whale does here is really talks to a lot of the vision around Cardano that I'm sure a lot of us are very familiar with. And I guess initially points out that you've got these different types of communities across the crypto ecosystem, and they're very, very far apart from each other, and they don't really deserve to sit in the same bucket. On one side, you've got Bitcoin, which was the original crypto, truly decentralized, or started off that way. Proof of work system, UTXO, has support from a huge community and governments and TradFi. That's evolved over time and continued to grow. There's a 21 million Bitcoin limit. There's a lot of trust, and obviously we know about governance being slow there, but it's hard to change the system. And that, in many respects, and also given Bitcoin's simplicity, makes it stable to users, or there's a view that it's very stable and reliable. And that's one of the most important properties of Bitcoin. Next, you've got Ethereum, again, a very stable community, a large community, and gets a lot of support from serious TradFi. Now, being in Cardano, there's a lot of reasons why we think Cardano is better than Ethereum. It's essentially, we believe, at least I believe, that Cardano is the best of Bitcoin and Ethereum. It takes that smart contract, programmable money out of Ethereum, and the scarcity out of Bitcoin, and extends that UTXO to bring together the best of both. Having said that, Ethereum does have that first mover. It is on the right side of what crypto is all about, and it does attract serious good attention. On the other side, you've got VC chains with support from, quote, Mickey Mouse TradFi, and you also have borderline criminal VC influencers that try and push an incorrect narrative that's usually paid for, and it makes it a very tough environment to compete in. But at the same time, and it's hard for the individual users and people with less experience in this ecosystem to understand that these things don't deserve to be in the same bucket. They're not decentralized. They're not about anything other than scalability and good user interface to try and steal and take as much money out of the system and show high market cap by poor tokenomics and manipulated tokenomics. So what's the value really here in Cardano? ADAhandle tries to bring this back to a few things. There is a Bitcoin-like hard cap of 45 billion, and that's been in place for approaching 50% of Bitcoin's entire lifespan, so from beginning of 2009. It's disinflationary like Bitcoin, and as we've said, look, it has that smart contract capability that Ethereum has. In addition, we've got on-chain decentralized governments coming online, giving access to, right now, a $650 million treasury on a truly decentralized proof-of-stake network. It's game-changing for the industry. And no other crypto has anything like this. I guess while in the short term, it's easy for these VC chains to keep the vast majority, 85% plus of the supply across 6 insiders, as ADAhandle says here, as an example, which gives them huge ability to pump that price and say the market cap is way higher than some of these much more organic coins like Cardano. The question really is where are they going to be in a few years' time when there's continuous inflation, when the VCs start checking out, and yet Cardano remains here as that organic chain with a huge community investing for the right reasons in a chain that gives them true ownership of the chain via the ADA that they hold, managed through decentralized governance. It's unbeatable in that respect, and there's nothing in comparison. So while short-term manipulation might impact the price of other tokens and other chains to the upside, Cardano's here for the long term, and it only gets better from here. First up on the project updates, back to ADAhandle. So ADAhandle have released a little bit more information about all the upcoming changes. First up, there is currently, as we know, a 15-character max to the root handles, I'll call them. Sub-handles are going to be able to be 28 characters in length. Okay, so I think that includes the dollar and the @ So you can have your dollar handle, dollar root handle, and then your sub handle will follow on with @ whatever you want. So the point they're making here is if you have 12 characters in your main handle, your root handle, then with the dollar and the @ sign, you can have another 12 characters for your sub handle. So interesting there. So 28 character max across all sub handles, the combination of. Next is the announcement of virtual sub handles. So virtual sub handles are very similar to the sub handles, except they are managed by smart contracts. Now, what this enables you to do as the root handle owner, you can create a virtual sub handle that can then be assigned to another wallet or whatever, but you keep ownership of this. So let's say you're a company, you want to create lots of sub handles for company addresses and give them ownership to different people within your company, let's say, like an email address. You still have the ownership of those virtual sub handles. So you can choose to pull them back or move them around as you want. The point is that the owner of the wallet where the virtual sub handle is located or pointing to doesn't own that virtual handle, which is a slight difference to the sub handle concept where it is just an extension of the root handle and its own NFT. Finally, a little summary from Handle. So the 3 main new features: affordable and unlimited sub-handle minting for all root handle owners. So this is the ability to monetize the sub-handle portion of your root handle if you so wish, or just create more sub-handles for yourself. Number 2, as we've discussed, being able to build your own sub-handles based on your root handle. Number 3, the virtual sub-handles we've also just discussed now. which you have full control over where they sit and what they do. Next up, Iagon and their immediate release roadmap. So there's a few things here. I'm not going to touch on them all. I'll just scroll through them quickly. There's various compute updates, staking, Click being the contact management tool, and various refinements to the existing infrastructure, file distribution, and so on. What I want to focus on is staking, and I'll click through to another post here in a second, but this is going to be most relevant to a lot of people here, is that we are now able, for existing Iagon token holders, we're going to be able to stake our tokens to support IT resource providers, be that storage or compute, across the network. As you probably know, in order to have a node providing IT infrastructure to the Iagon network, you have to lock up and delegate some of your IAG tokens as a deposit. This now allows users and token holders to delegate their IAG tokens in support of node IT resource delegators in support of the network. Furthermore, in regards to IAG token staking, the Cardano DApp analyst had a few important questions that he put to the Iagon team. These are IAG staking rewards paid in IAG? If so, this is going to create inflation, and are there ways to mitigate this inflation? So some good questions. The Iagon team responded as follows. First of all, yes, staking rewards for staking your IAG tokens are going to be paid in IAG tokens. Now, obviously, this is going to cause inflation, and how are they going to manage that inflation? Well, they came back with four answers here. First of all, earnings distribution. So what they mean by this is that some of that protocol revenue, a significant portion of the protocol revenue from subscription fees and transaction fees, are going to be shared with the IAG stakers, the token stakers. Now, I presume those earnings are to be paid in either ADA or USD stablecoin, so not the IAG token itself, therefore limiting new supply of IAG tokens. Secondly, there's going to be a buyback mechanism in place. So as the Iagon protocol earns revenue, some of that revenue is going to go back into buying IAG from the open market. So reducing that token supply. Those IAG tokens will be put on the side and used to pay resource providers going forward into the future as they continue to delegate IT storage and compute capacity. Third, trust bonds. So the way the Iagon network works is, as a resource provider, you will contribute your storage or your compute or both to that network. Now, in order to do that, and proportionally to the amount of capacity you're providing to the network, you need to deposit and lock up some IAG tokens. So the more capacity you delegate, the more IAG tokens you need to provide as essentially your deposit. Now, as a token holder and staker, you can delegate some of those IAG tokens to a node provider as you like. But the point is that they're trying to make here is that there's going to be a significant amount of Iagon tokens locked up from the open market as part of the way that the network operates, and the storage and compute capacity gets delegated to the network. It's kind of like having sort of literal stake in the game. To demonstrate that you're trustworthy and to disincentivize bad behavior from node operators or node resource providers. And finally, sustainable growth. So the vision is that there's going to be a balanced approach between rewards, earnings, and the growth of the network to ultimately not create a scenario where IAG tokens start flooding the market. So I think some good answers here. Obviously, there are also good questions from the Cardano DApp analyst. It's important whenever you're looking at tokens as part of a project to understand the tokenomics and whether it's the tokens even required to run the protocol, and ask the hard questions. So good thread here and good questions from the Cardano DApp analyst. And finally, on the Iagon updates, a short thread on the recent chaos caused by a cybersecurity firm, CrowdStrike, and their update that predominantly impacted Windows machines. I'm going to write a thread here just to re-emphasize the benefits of decentralized cloud over your traditional cloud providers. This really revolves around resilience, security, and ownership of your own data. If something breaks, if a node fails, a centralized node fails, you're never going to have an outage problem using a decentralized cloud like Iagon. So it's all compliant, secure, encrypted, sharded, and resilient. And really that's the point of this thread here, just in sharp comparison to what we currently have around the world in the public cloud space. And finally, from the Cardano project updates, I want to draw your attention to AnetaBTC. Now, AnetaBTC is a Bitcoin Cardano bridge. They've been around for some time, running their V1 protocol, similar to Rosenbridge, by the way. It appears that they're in their final preparations for launching V2, which appears to be a far more decentralized approach to managing that bridge. So I'm excited to see this. The more competition, the better. And now moving on to some wider crypto ecosystem news. The most important thing that has happened over the last couple of days is the SEC officially approving the spot Ethereum ETF for trading. It says tomorrow, but it's actually now today. That's the 23rd of July. So this is really important. Obviously, this follows on from the Bitcoin ETF launch and just paves the way for more cryptos and to start trading in this manner. And it really signifies the sort of the slow but mainstream adoption of the crypto industry. Next up, Bitcoin 2024. The conference in Nashville starts on Thursday. That's the 25th of July. Lots of exciting speakers. I'm sure lots of exciting announcements to come. So something really to keep an eye on. On the topic of Bitcoin, we've got plenty more news here. Next, Elon Musk has updated his X profile picture with laser eyes. Now, obviously, a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis have jumped on this. I'm going to do the same. What I see are blue eyes, and that only means one thing. He must be a Cardano maxi. Anyway, on a serious note, Elon has reportedly landed in Tennessee, or his private jet has. So there's lots of speculation that he's going to make a surprise appearance to the Bitcoin conference. Now, we know that SpaceX and Tesla actually hold Bitcoin themselves, and there have been comments suggesting that Elon is going to reopen Tesla to start accepting payments in Bitcoin. So we'll find out more, I'm sure. Exciting to see. Next, these final 2 points are Trump related. There's been a lot of speculation that Trump will announce a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve policy for the United States should he be elected. So exciting stuff. Keep your eyes peeled. And finally, on Trump and Bitcoin, there are more rumors that Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, is considering, or Trump is considering appointing him as the Treasury Secretary should he win the election and be appointed to the White House. Exciting times. Thank you once again for tuning in to the latest episode of ADA Network State. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you, and see you next time.